First of all, what sort of condition are people in when you and your teams greet them?
Well, we're all in preparation for the response right now. We've seen a small displacement already, possibly 900 people have already been fleeing, and we're expecting to see a lot more in the upcoming week. In previous times, possibly when the operation to retake Anbar happened recently, you saw tens of thousands of people fleeing at the same time and coming into camps where you have, again, 50,000, 60,000 people coming into one area. So the organizations like International Medical Corps work to provide emergency response, whether it's medical care, psychosocial support, and other organizations provide safe drinking water and everything else that we can do on the short response time.
And presumably some people arrive with healthcare problems that have built up over some time because they've already been living in extremely difficult circumstances before you and your team even see them.
Yeah, of course, in many of these areas, the health system has been destroyed, whether it's through fighting or bombing or because the doctors have fled or there's no access to medication. So when they come to the camps or when International Medical Corps provides a mobile medical unit, it may be the first time that they've seen a doctor in 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. So you're talking about preventable diseases such as measles or cholera or something like this, whether they can be prevented through vaccinations or safe drinking water. When this isn't available and the people flee, they're finding the medication and the doctors that they haven't been able to access for months or a year at a time.
And you touched on this a little, but of course there's going to be a lot of physical health problems and you've outlined some of those. But I'm curious, are you able to talk a little bit more about the psychological impact of what they've been through as well and how much help any organisation is able to give them, given what they're contending with and the possible numbers that, as you say, we might end up seeing?
Yeah, this is a problem with many of the displaced populations, whether you're talking about the Yazidi population who fled almost 2 years ago or the current displacement now. International Medical Corps provides mental health and psychosocial services. So we have doctors and field staff who are trained in psychological first aid. So they've been trained to provide some of the ground level psychosocial care that the people need. And then when you find acute cases, whether it's a victim of abuse or somebody who possibly is suicidal, then we would refer them to psychologists for further care. And we've also been providing gender-based violence support to whether it's survivors of gender-based violence, which happens, of course, in times of conflict, and particularly when people are fleeing from the likes of ISIS in Mosul.
And more broadly, how much confidence, optimism do you have about the ability of your organisations and others like you and all the charities and NGOs to cope just purely with the sheer weight of numbers that we may yet witness in the coming weeks?
Well, of course, we hope that we can provide the best possible level of services. The number of possible displaced could be astronomical. There's as many as 1.5 million people living in Mosul right now. So depending on the level of displacement, of course, it could be quite a scramble. But we've been working for several months here in preparation, pre-supplying medical commodities and medicines and training our staff to be able to respond. So once the large displacement happens in the near future, then we should be ready to respond to provide medical care. And other organizations, of course, will be providing their own services. But when you're talking of a scale, of course, it's going to be difficult. So we'll be working, 7 days a week, trying to make sure that what we do is providing the services that these people depend on and that they're waiting for us to provide.